I hope you enjoyed creating your first model. As a little reward, you'll find something special in the description. Don't forget to check it out. So today, we're gonna dive into some of the most important modifiers in Blender. First, we have Solidify modifiers, which is great for adding thickness to your models. We have the Subdivision Surface, an amazing tool to smooth out shape. Edges aren't perfectly sharp. No problem, we have Bevel modifiers. Then, we have Mirror modifier, perfect for creating symmetrical designs. Sometimes, sharp edges get smoothed out with the Subdivision Surface modifier. Here are 3 quick ways to keep them sharp. Use Ctrl+R to add edge loops and move them closer to the original edge. Or use the Bevel modifier, but don't forget to increase edge count and reduce the spacing. My favorite method is selecting the edge and using Shift+E to apply an edge crease. When adding extra edges to a model, it's better to simplify the design to avoid unwanted effects during smoothing. For example, if we add 2 edges on different sides, there will be intersection points and additional edges on the original outer edges. This can make smoothing less smooth. To simplify this and improve the result, we can select the intersection point and the nearest original point. Use the shortcut J to join the points with a new edge. Delete the extra edges by pressing X, then Edge Dissolve from the menu. By repeating this process on all faces with extra edges, you'll notice the smoothing becomes more seamless, and the extra edges no longer affect the model's appearance. When creating a circle and using Extrude while smoothing, you might notice the shape collapses. This happens because the outer points aren't properly connected to the edges. To fix this, we can use the shortcut I to add new edges inside the shape, which significantly improves the appearance. Next, use Ctrl+R to add edge loops between the 2 circles, which enhances the outer shape. Finally, we repeat the same method to improve the remaining parts of the shape. Sometimes the mesh seems error-free, but when you apply smoothing, strange issues appear. You might try deleting edges, but the problem persists. The reason is that some faces are flipped. To fix this, go to Viewport Overlays and enable face orientation to see the flipped faces in red. Use Shift+N to correct the orientation, and the problem is solved. Now, let's get back to our model. In the previous episode, we stopped after designing the Suba. Today, we'll continue where we left off and add the next details. First, let's move the Suba to its correct location easily. Select the 2 closest points to the correct position, then use the shortcut Shift+S and choose Cursor to select it. After moving the cursor to the desired location, select the Suba and use Shift+S again, then choose Selection to Cursor. Now let's rotate the Suba. First, set the pivot point to 3D Cursor. Then, use the shortcut R+X+90 to rotate it 90 degrees around the X-axis. Let's adjust the size slightly using the shortcut S. Awesome. Now relax, and don't forget that the shortcuts used are here. Amazing, isn't it? Now it's time to add a professional touch to the sword handle by creating braided leather wrapping around it. Doing this manually might seem like a daunting task, and achieving the precise result we want can be challenging. But don't worry, there's an easy and smart way to do it. First, let's add a path, which will serve as the guide for the braided leather. We can add it easily. Go to the Add menu, select Curve, and then choose Path. Resize the path to fit the sword handle. Rotate it 90 degrees along the appropriate axis. Move the path to the center of the handle, starting at the top. This ensures that the braid will wrap around the handle symmetrically and elegantly. We only need 3 points in the path to define the basic shape. Move the 3 points to the side. Let's make slight adjustments to the points to fine-tune the final shape of the path. Let's add the screw modifier to create the twisting effect of the braid around the handles. Set the screw modifier to work along the x-axis. Adjust the screw value. Add shrink wrap modifier to make the braid wrap tightly around the handle. Set the handle as the target. Select above surface from the snap mode options. Increase the offset value in the shrink wrap modifier settings. Increasing this value will move the braid slightly away from the handle surface. Go back to the screw modifier settings and increase the iterations value. Increasing this value will add more repetitions to the twist of the braid. Let's make some semi-final adjustments to the shape. Go to the curve properties and reduce the resolution to 3. We don't need anything higher than that. And so, the journey of endless adjustments continues as we strive for the perfect result. Now, we need to complete the braided leather pattern on the sword handle. To do this, you could repeat the process manually, but there's a much easier way. Use the shortcut Shift+D to duplicate the object, then Ctrl+M+X to mirror it in the opposite direction. Now, let's go to the viewport shading settings and select random for the colors. This makes it easier to distinguish details and avoid visual fatigue. Adjust the spacing between each element and the sword handle by tweaking the offset value in the shrink wrap modifier. To be honest, I was quite lazy with this part. You can definitely do a much better job even with your eyes closed. Now, let's move on to the next step, converting the curve to a mesh. Right-click, then select Convert to and choose Mesh. Merge the two objects together using the shortcut Ctrl+J. After merging the objects, we connect them using the faces. However, if we use the shortcut F, it won't connect the points. This is the perfect time to highlight an important tool, Bridge Edge Loops. This tool works only in Edge Select mode, which is accessed by pressing 2. Once we're in Edge Selection mode, we select both sides we want to connect, then right-click and choose Bridge Edge Loops. Create a cut in the middle using the shortcut Ctrl+R. Make bevel with the shortcut Ctrl+B. We continue making adjustments until we achieve the desired result. Awesome! We've completed the braided leather design. Now it's time to enhance it with some magic by adding a few modifiers. Let's get started. We'll start by adding the solidify modifier to give the braid proper thickness. Now you can control the thickness of the braid. Increase the thickness value to make it expand outward, or decrease it to make it go inward. Add the subdivision modifier to give the braid a smooth look. Now, the next step is optional and depends on your artistic vision. Add shrink wrap modifier and select outside surface from the snap mode menu. Then set the sword handle as the target. Now the leather braid is more closely attached to the sword handle. Of course, this step is optional as it might require some further adjustments afterward. Apply shrink wrap modifier. Disable the effect of the solidify modifier in edit mode by clicking the display modifier in edit mode. Now that we have a clearer view, let's adjust the spacing between each braid. Hide the two ends of the braid to make the editing process easier. Select the edges we want to hide and then pressing the shortcut H. By doing this, we can now use the proportional editing tool and enable the connected only option. This ensures that any adjustments we make will only affect directly connected points, giving us better control when adjusting the spacing between the braids. Select one edge at each intersection of the outer braid, then move it slightly outward. You'll notice that the effect is broad as surrounding points are adjusted. Thanks to the proportional editing tool, creating smooth and consistent spacing between the braids. Let's continue refining the edges to ensure that the spacing between the braids is even and aesthetically aligned. Make a duplicate of the gem on the sword blade using the shortcut Shift+D. Move it to the sword handle. Pull the braid behind the gem slightly forward. If you want to modify a specific part of the mesh while using modifiers, you need to create a vertex group. To do this, use the shortcut Ctrl+G, then select Assign to New Group. This step will allow you to target specific parts of the mesh for modification, giving you greater control over the adjustments. Add the shrink wrap modifier to ensure the edge of the gem sticks to the handle. Now, let's make some final adjustments to the model. Don't forget to unhide the hidden edges in the braid using the shortcut Alt+H. And here we are, reaching the end of this episode and the end of part 1 of our modeling series. It may surprise you, but all you need to get started is practice and imagination. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get all the latest updates. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive into shading and take our creativity to the next level.